An Israeli woman was left with a foot-long knife in her back after allegedly being stabbed by her Palestinian teenage neighbor, whose family are facing eviction, in East Jerusalem. Moria Cohen, 26, was stabbed in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood, which has been hit by waves of unrest linked to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, on Wednesday morning, Israeli emergency services confirmed. Cohen, who was walking her children to kindergarten at the time of the attack, was admitted to Hadassah Hospital Mount Scopus with a foot-long knife in her back, according to Director of General Surgery Hagi Meza. Head surgeon Meza said the cut caused by the knife was not deep. Cohen was treated for moderate injuries and released from hospital just hours later. A 14-year-old female suspect fled from the scene and was tracked down to a nearby school after a massive manhunt involving police helicopters and ground units. Israeli police said they had also arrested a number of other women who had surrounded the suspect at the time of her arrest. According to an anti-settlement group, the suspect belongs to one of at least 7 families in Sheikh Jarrah facing eviction proceedings. The neighborhood has several Palestinian families at risk of eviction amid a decades-long legal battle. Veer Cohen, the victim's husband, claimed the teenager who stabbed his wife was their neighbor, alleging that they had suffered daily harassment from her family. He told Israel National News Channel 7, "She was our neighbor and she knows us. Of course they weren't the kind of neighbors you could borrow eggs or milk from, we suffered daily harassment from them." Mr. Cohen told the news network that he was on reserve army duty on Wednesday morning, so his wife had walked their 5 children to kindergarten. He alleged the 14-year-old stabbed her just meters away from their home, claiming their son screamed, "Mommy, you've got a knife in your back." Mr. Cohen confirmed that his wife is feeling good and said his family will continue to live in the same neighborhood despite the stabbing. Meanwhile, the suspect's grandfather said the family was in shock following the stabbing. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett praised the security forces for the swift capture of the terrorist and wished a speedy recovery to the victim. The stabbing took place in Sheikh Jarrah, where several Palestinian extended families are at risk of being evicted by Jewish settlers amid a decades-long legal battle. Guido Fran of the Peace Now anti-settlement group, which tracks East Jerusalem land rights cases, said the suspect belongs to one of at least 7 families in Sheikh Jarrah facing eviction proceedings. Their case is awaiting a decision at the Supreme Court, Fran said. Land rights tensions in Sheikh Jarrah and other contested East Jerusalem neighborhoods exploded in May, with Palestinians repeatedly clashing with Israeli security forces. The unrest helped to fuel 11 days of deadly fighting between Israel and Palestinian militants in Gaza. Jarrah is one of a number of East neighborhoods where Jewish settlers have lodged claims to homes where Palestinians live, saying the properties belonged to Jews before Israel's 1948 war for independence. Palestinians have resisted the claims, saying the land was allocated to them when East Jerusalem was under Jordanian administration between 1948 and 1967. The stabbing follows a string of lone wolf attacks in recent weeks by individuals who do not appear to have had ties to established militant groups. On Monday, a Palestinian teen rammed his car into an Israeli checkpoint in the West Bank. A security guard shot him dead, Israeli authorities said. And just days before on Saturday, a Palestinian man stabbed an Israeli man near the city's Damascus gate and then attempted to stab a border police officer, according to police. Officers shot the assailant and appeared to continue firing after he lay on the ground incapacitated. Official Palestinian news agency Wafa identified the assailant as Mohammed Shoukat Ahmed Salima, 25, from the northern West Bank town of Sulfit. Israel's Magen David Adom Emergency Service said the stabbing victim was a 20-year-old religious Jewish man who was taken to hospital in moderate to severe condition. Palestinians accused Israel of excessive force, while Israel said officers who killed the attacker followed protocol. Last month, an Israeli civilian was killed and 3 people wounded when a Palestinian gunman opened fire in Jerusalem's Old City in a rare shooting attack by a militant of Hamas, the Palestinian Islamist group which controls the Gaza Strip. Israel occupied East Jerusalem in the Six-Day War of 1967 and later annexed it in a move never recognized by the international community. Palestinians want East Jerusalem to be the capital of their future state. The city's fate was one of the thorniest issues in peace talks that ground to a halt more than a decade ago.